All right. You're welcome to Bubbling 247. My name is Tony Labo and I remain your host. Today I have with me my brother and big boss. He's the founder and the technical lead of Bigyard Digital, who, the organization specializes in developing products and platforms for the African and global market. So, boss, you're welcome to Bubbling 247. I'm so glad that you're doing this with me. It's been a long time coming. I mean, we've been trying to find time to do this, but here we are today. So you're welcome once again to Bubbling 247.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here.
So I checked your page. I mean, just some minutes ago, I saw that you launched your newsletter, Creative
Yeah,
Vibes.
that was recent. Yes, that was very recent.
That was recent.
Yes.
So what inspired that? What should we be looking forward to from your what kind of wisdom should we be looking forward to from your pool of wisdom?
Okay. It's a lot about telling my story in context of the African market. As individuals, the market actually treats us differently. For instance,
I agree.
For instance, as a person, I have experience in some fields. I've worked with a certain level of people. So it's easier for me to talk to those people. Okay, for instance, one of my regular clients is an institution. I will not mention names, but one of my regular clients is an institution in Nigeria. And the only thing linking us is because I've worked with them previously as a staff.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if another person is starting up and trying to reach out or approach them, the person might not have the same kind of response that I will get from them. So the whole point of it is telling my story as an African entrepreneur from the lens of myself and what made it possible. So it's been in the offing from like 2-3 years, about 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
But right now I'm trying to free myself from some things. I have some stuffs I can trust now. Let me put it like that.
Oh, okay.
So that is making me free up some time for myself to do what I really want to do personally.
What do you want to do?
Creative Vibes. It's about an entrepreneur's journey. Although I will add some other things, like the last 2 editions, I've been able to add jobs for people that wants to get job. I've been able to add tools. Okay, for instance, AI tools that can help people. Things I think that, okay, instead of you paying people or instead of you using a free tool that is not that good, you can use a better tool. So just me enlightening people. That's it.
Why is it important? Why is it important that you tell your stories, and why now?
Okay. Let me start with why now. It's been something I've been thinking about for, let me say, 2 years. But for most of those, maybe 2.5 years, for most of those time, that was when I stopped paid employment and I moved into working personally for myself. And believe me, it was not easy. It was not easy.
I know. Entrepreneurship is hard.
It is not easy. I can remember the first date I made my first naira as an entrepreneur. That was after 5 months. That was the 30th of May, 2003. I can't forget that day in my life. So, despite the fact that I wanted to do it for a long time, I couldn't because I need to stabilize. I need to make sure, I don't want to watch over my back like when is my next meal coming from. So I needed to focus on what was important. That was why I deferred it to this time. So why is it important for me to tell that story? One of the things I realized about is this. When people tell their story, we relate to them, and sometimes it gives you faith. It gives you faith. That is, there's a lot of people that I read their story when things were really down for me, and if this person can do it, I can do it too. So somebody else might be in my own shoes too, that just says, if Shekun can do it, I can do it too. So that's the major reason why I want to tell my story.
I think it's so important that we tell our stories because it motivates other people.
Yeah, it does.
Because we also, we listen to stories of people, we watch them maybe talk, maybe give talks at different presentations, or even podcasts. We listen to their stories and we get moved and we want to, act and maybe do the next thing, take the next action, just to make sure that we continue to forge our dreams, to make sure that, we don't slack. And I agree with you. It's so important that you tell your story because it's only you that can better tell your story.
Yeah.
Yes, it's only you that can better tell. So you also talked about the entrepreneurship struggles. How maybe the challenges in the country, how you before you make your own first client, right? So how are you able to navigate from the first client to now having series of clients, then to stabilizing your business?
Oh, okay. I think usually there's this saying online. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. So there's this saying that the first million is always the hardest. The first client is always the hardest too. When I was transitioning from paid employment to being an entrepreneur, before then I do freelance works by the side. But I thought, okay, as a freelancer, you just enter and the same strategy you've been using, you just continue. It didn't work like that. It didn't work like that at all. Many of my clients, that I serviced when I was a freelancer, many of them didn't have any project for me when I became a full-time employee. So I realized that there's a difference between when you have once in a while clients and when you actually need clients every day.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that hit me hard. So after I realized, okay, I have to send DMs like somebody wants to die. That was my that was my first strategy, and believe me, that strategy works. I don't know who needs to hear this, but that strategy works. Connect with people on a really deep level. Really check out their profile. I use LinkedIn a lot. Really check out their profile. Talk to them based on what you see they are doing, and believe me, they will connect with you. And between 2 or 3 DMs, you would know whether they are your client or not, and you can move on or move to the other person. So that was my strategy. That is still my strategy. Should I be saying that? But that is still my strategy.
But come to think of it, those times would have been a very difficult time. I mean, what were the habits or mindset that kept you going?
All right. The first thing I have to say is God Almighty. I have to say that. The second thing I have to say is Nescafe. Believe me, I've taken a lot of coffee. I've taken a lot of coffee that sometimes I can work for 3-4 days, then sleep for 1 full day.
Wow.
So it was not like this strategy. The only thing I know was, before you say a strategy does not work, make sure you have actually done it to a specific amount of time that you know, okay, this does not work for me. Believe me, every strategy works if you make it work.
Wow. Every strategy works if you make it work.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that one is hard.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point exactly. Because it is hard, people think it doesn't work. See, there are many strategies that work, but people will rather use the shortcut, and that is the major problem. Believe me, it might take you 5 months, it might take you 6 months. But after that 6 months, it will not take you that time again. So that's
so from your experience, I mean, what advice would you give someone that is about getting into entrepreneurship, that wants to build a business from the ground up?
Number one, think about it though. Think about it very well. Because if you don't want it, I would lie if I say I did not contemplate going back to paid employment. I would lie.
9 to 5.
Yes. I would lie if I contemplated it a lot of times. But I knew why I wanted this. So the why was what kept me going.
What kept you going?
Yes. So number one, think about, do you want it, or do you just want the glamour of being a startup
CEO.
fan? Yeah. If that's what you want, believe me, you are better off getting a 9 to 5. Because things, even when you think everything is right, something from somewhere you did not expect will just go wrong.
Wrong.
Okay, let me give you a little example. There was a time I was working on my website, my own personal website. I've used this for years, mind you. When I was doing freelance, I've used this way. I just wanted to make it reflect my present status, which means at one stage it just got flagged by Google for no reason.
Wow.
For no reason. In fact, I struggled with this for over 6 months before I got another domain name. So to tell you, so I didn't think that would go wrong. I never planned that would go wrong, but it went wrong. Yeah. So you just have to know by yourself, is this what I want? And can I face it when difficulties come? That's all you need. That's all you need.
Wow. So you've been in tech for some years now. How did you get into tech, by the way?
That's one question I asked myself a couple of times. At least you know a little bit about me.
At least
I wanted to do medicine, and when I did pre-degree, OAU pre-degree, I had 78. Yeah, cut off for medicine then was 79.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a big blow.
Yeah, so I wanted to cross to pharmacy, which I was very close until that man saw my slip and realized pharmacy was my second choice. He just threw my thing at me and said, pharmacy do not accept second choice.
Second choice, yeah.
So pharmacy has to be your first choice.
Yeah.
So that was how I lost that. So
that chance.
Yeah. So I just started school normally like everybody and continued. And at certain point, I started some business in school. So I realized I needed a little bit of graphics. In fact, I think I started with just using Word to just print out what I want to paste. At a certain point, I shifted to CorelDRAW. Yeah. So I started using CorelDRAW. And there was one guy that came to me that, can you do this thing for 1,000? I can't remember, 1,000 naira. So I designed the banner for him at that point, 1,000. So I designed the banner for him, 1,000. That was the first time anybody will pay me for anything that I've ever done.
Anything.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, that's good.
It was big at that time.
Yeah, it was big.
As a student.
Yeah, if you put it like that.
Of course, no. Let's put it into context. Let's put it into context.
That.
As a student,
it was.
That year I have. Yeah. It's a lot. If there's a lot that it could do for you at that time.
Yeah, it did a lot for me. Let me be. I lived a communal life, so I live with my friends. We live together in the same hostel, and I think we cooked. What we shall spent that day was around 300 or 400 naira. I can't remember. So it was quite a log. It was quite a lot. It was a
lifesaver.
Yes. So after I did that, okay. That was when I really started learning graphics. So I started with, by being a graphic designer. So there was this day, a friend of mine, Dara and her, we were rating graphic designer in Ife on campus then. So I realized I rated myself around number 7. You know, that's being biased because there were other people we did not know too. Of course. But I rated myself around number 7. And one thing I realized with that, because I've done some other businesses with that, when you're number 2, number 3, believe me, the chances of you being known is not as much as, let me say, number 1. Number 1 will take about 70-80% of the market.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So being number 7 did not sit down well with me. That was when I started learning HTML. That was when I shifted into web design. Okay. So I shifted into web design. There's this place I used to use in Ife. They have a cafe, but they're majorly a photography studio. So before then, I was doing a little bit of stuff for them, graphic design for them. So the man just said, I've seen you write a couple of code now. Come and help me write this thing. You know that timer that shows in front of sites, in front of cafe that you have to log in. That was my first web design
entry.
Yes. Yeah. So he paid me 2,000. Oh. This one paid this one pays better than graphics. So that was my entry into tech. Then I worked with a multimedia firm in Ife. I schooled with them. I did I think 6 months course with them. We learned every aspect of multimedia, web, graphics, video, everything, every aspect. Yeah. Yes. And I stayed to work with them too. So that really immersed me into tech.
Into tech.
Yes. I can think about tech from different perspectives. That really immersed me.
Yeah. So, I just want to bring you back into, I want to bring you back into, where you said the lecturer threw, the paper at you. So,
all right.
What course did you later study?
Oh, okay. So eventually I went into biochemistry to start from. Then when I was, that time we used to have 2 admissions, one from your pre-degree, because I did pre-degree, and the other from your JAMB. So I had biochemistry from my JAMB, and pre-degree for a long time they did not give me any course till when I went to beg. Eventually, because pharmacy was my second choice, microbiology was my third choice. It happens these 2 departments did not accept second and third choices.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So eventually I had 2 admissions, animal sciences and biochemistry. So I started with biochemistry. My parents just said I should do animal sciences. Grudgingly, I started. By the time I was in part 2, part 3, I lost focus about school. This is one of the things you don't know about me. I lost focus about school. I was much more into business. That was when I started web design, when I started graphics, web design. So at a stage, I left school for like a year or 1.5 years. So I came back to school to study geography.
Wow. So is it that the money you were making at that time took you away from your studies, and you were making quite a lot of money at that time, right?
Yeah, I think that was the point. I was making, in context, it was a lot of money, but really, was it a lot of money?
It would have actually been a lot of money at that time, because for you to think that you need to pack your bag and you need to, put studies aside, and this business is what you want to face scarcely before for a year. I mean, it's something for a student that come on. It must have been a lot of money that took you away from your studies. But at what point did you retract your steps and you feel like, okay, I need this education?
Okay. As I was going, that was when I went to SYL Multimedia School that I talked about earlier. So when I got the job to work with them, because I really liked my work, I was probably, at that stage, I was the only person that could work in multiple departments, because I learned graphics and web before I got to them. Okay. Then I had little interest in music, so I do a little bit of voice editing for them. So I had a lot of skills. So he really liked me. So there was a day we were talking, and he said, I've not talked about school. And I told him, I left school. And I was like, why? You are too young to even consider that at all. So I was telling him that, okay. He said he would still be paying me if I'm a student. He doesn't care whether I'm a student or not. So I really would appreciate him for that. So he told me I have to get back to school. So that year I rewrote JAMB. And I went, no, I didn't get back the first year. So I wanted to go back to my previous course, which was animal sciences. So because I did not take leave of absence, I had F.
To start from.
No, I had F for two semesters.
Okay.
So There's no way I can resurrect F in like 12 courses. No, I did not write those exams, but because I did not write the exams and I did not have any leave of absence, so that was so I had to just wait for the following year, write JAMB again, then enter. So that was it.
So how were you able to juggle school at that time? Because sometimes you've left school for a year, and for you to go back, how did you transition back into most especially from mindset shift? How did you transition that your mindset from business to, what, I need to also take care of this part of my life, this is education, I need to take care of it? How did you transition that your mindset to that?
Number one, that was why I respect to everybody that studied geography, but that was why I chose geography. I know something relatively easy for me to do. Number two, despite that fact, it wasn't easy, I must admit. Yeah. My first and second year were not, my first year especially was not easy. My second year was easier when I started having friends, when older people started joining the departments, people from direct entry, people that crossed from other departments. So by the third year, that was when I became completely settled. And I started. So
at that time, were you also doing business by the side? And how did you juggle both?
Okay. I was doing business. I really haven't stopped business since then. The only thing was, it was reduced a little bit. It was reduced to when it was convenient for me. That's the only
you were able to strike a balance.
Yes. So that was the only thing. That's the only thing. I never stopped business.
Never stopped. Okay. So let's bring it back to Bigyard Digital and how you've been able to build your entrepreneurship journey so far. Right. You've spoken about some of the challenges that you faced in terms of landing your first client and how hard it is for you to stabilize. So far you've built. When I checked your platform, you wrote that you've built like over 100 products. Right?
Yeah,
you've built like over 100 digital products.
Yes.
Yes, and delivered over. How you put it that with over 100 digital products delivered. Yes. So how do you maintain quality, creativity, and performance at scale?
Okay. Let me put that into context first. I juggle a couple of roles. Like I manage projects. So there are some people that employ me or employ Bigyard Digital to manage a project for them. We are not the one building it, but okay, we know you are technical people here. Help us do this. I see I have about 3 or 4 projects like that. So we just meet like 2 or 3 times a week to discuss it. So the reason why I'm trying to clarify that it doesn't mean that we built all those projects.
Yeah, right. I get that now.
So building stuff at scale, one of the major things that I do consider is this. Your team is the only thing that can help you. No individual person can build anything at scale.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think it has ever been done for just one person to build anything at scale. So fundamentally, building anything at scale is tied down to your team. So we can now start discussing your team, how you can do that. But building anything at scale, it's very tied down to your team.
All right. So team building is very important.
Probably the most important thing in business.
In this business.
Yes.
So how do you when a client approach you, how do you take the business from that point, to delivering the product?
Okay. The first thing we do, we've confirmed you want to do this with us. Okay. What are the client's expectations? Believe me, you can build the best product, and all the client wants is just one circle with one text inside. You understand what I mean? So
I get that.
It's not about.
I get that.
It's not about. There are some products we built that I can't share with people, but the client loves them.
Of them. Ooh.
You understand? So it is not about, it's about making the client satisfied. So the first thing is, what does the client expect? Usually what we do is, after our discussion, we show them an array of other people, other products similar to what they want. Oh, I want this. I want this. I want this. This is everything you want to. Then we share a mock-up. Once we agree on the mock-up of the design, we can't change anything. We can still change, but definitely at least you know yourself that you agreed on this. So if we are changing anything, you know it is not from our side.
Yeah.
And we can
So on cases where clients request for some changes, even despite the fact that you already had an agreement, how do you manage that? Does that impact the delivery time, and of course in terms of cost? How do you manage that relationship?
Okay. Number one, depending on how elaborate the changes, it might impact delivery time. There was a project we were working on. It was supposed to be an LMS, but the person just came up and said, "Oh, I want to be able to sell things on this same platform too." So what you are saying is an LMS and an e-commerce site built in one. And she said yes. So things like that will impact the delivery time. One, that will also impact cost. Definitely, you are expecting another thing or that's different from what we discussed. So depending on what the client wants and what they want to be changed, it will actually affect the cost and the timeline. But if it's something simple like we removed green from our theme color, we are no more using green, that can be done within a day or two maximum. So you understand, it depends on what the client wants.
So it's all about the client.
Yeah, it is all about.
So coming to your leadership as the CEO and the technical lead of Bigyard Digital, while you're driving the business,
okay,
in terms of leadership,
okay,
and then you're also involved in the execution, hands-on execution. How do you balance leadership, your visionary leadership with hands-on execution?
It was tough at the beginning, very tough, but it's getting easier. Like I said earlier, your team really matters. That is one of the lessons that's the biggest lesson I've learned this year. No matter how good you are, believe me, if you have a terrible team, no matter how good you as yourself can be, they can't execute beyond their own capacity. So your team as a whole really matters. I have a lady, she's helping me out. She's my cousin. She's helping me out with my preparation for, I told you I want to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. I said that.
She's helping me with preparations for that. And believe me, she made it very easy for me. Very, very easy for me to get things. Okay, this is what you need. I don't question her because I know, she has done this a couple of times, and every time she says, get this instead of this, the result was better. Okay. Yes. So, like I said, you can't really outperform your team.
Yeah.
That's the baseline of everything.
So now you know, the other time you talked about some of the challenges you face in building a business. Now let's bring it home to in building a digital product for clients and for businesses. So what have been the unique challenges that you faced while you building digital product, and how have you been able to overcome them?
Number one, as a point of rule, this is one thing we've enacted as a rule. Number one, most clients don't know what they want. They have an idea what they want. What they want is Uber that can work as Tinder, that can work as, you understand what I mean now? They want one thing.
I know.
This is what we want. But we also want it to be able to do this, to be able to do that, to be able to do that on a budget of something that we use to buy lunch. So That's the number one problem for me. When you work with somebody that knows what they want, your work will be appreciated.
Yeah.
Your
I
work
agree
will be
with you.
very appreciated. So one of the biggest challenges we faced or we are still facing is clients actually understanding what they want, not just what they dream of having, what they want. And outside that, I think every other thing is just about you managing the client.
The
But
clients.
that's the biggest thing.
In situations where the client doesn't know what they want, and you deliver something that is of, or you think that is of quality, and the client comes back and say, you know what, this thing that even though we don't know what we want at the beginning, if this thing that you've presented, we don't think that this would work. How do you now manage that expectation from that point on?
Yeah, that is a very, very big question. I think a couple of months ago, we still entered that kind of problem. One of the major things we actually have to do is to agree on something, even if it's not what you want.
Yeah.
At least what you think you want as at that point. We have to have an agreement before we move forward. Yes. There has to be an agreement. You can change it. Like everything, you might want to go in this direction at some point you discover, okay, this direction is better. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But at least for us to be able to start, we have to have a direction. So that is the first thing we have to deal with any client. Okay, this is what we are doing. After that, if you want to change it, you have to know it has cost and time implication too. So that is it.
Okay, I think because this question is very important, because I worked at an advertising agency at the time, and that client, that brand management and the agency guys relationship, sometimes there's always a friction, because you develop a campaign, you take it to the client, and the client will tell you, the brand manager will tell you, nah, this doesn't work. It doesn't work that way, even though they don't have an idea of what they actually wanted from the get-go. But you've been able to go sit down, cook up some ideas, present to them, and they still tell you, you know what, this is, we're not going with this. Go back and think about another idea. So this is why managing clients can be so difficult.
Extremely.
It can be so difficult. Now brings me back to the question. Now down to the question about finance in terms of business client relationship. There are some clients that before you start business, or before you start your transaction, maybe you tell them to pay certain amount of money, right? When you start the project. So, and you are, after delivery, they are to pay the balance make the balance of your payment. There are some clients that default. So how do you manage that relationship?
Man, that question is a very big question. The reason why it's extremely big to me, I still have a list of people that are yet to pay for over a year. So,
because when it comes to money, there's always a big issue when it comes to money.
It took me a while to understand. I naturally believe that as human beings, when you have a project and it's executed, it's only normal for you to pay. Yeah. That's how I used to think until I got into business full time. Then I realized there are some people that do not want to pay at all. I would not mention him, but there is a big brand around Ikeja that gave us a job, which we did very well. They needed it for something, so they needed it urgently. And because of the person that referred them, actually, we collect 60% upfront, but we did not collect anything upfront because it was very urgent. I think myself and one other guy, one of our web developers, we did not sleep all weekend. It was with me here. And we did it. By that Monday, it's been a while. But by the Monday they needed it, I think by 5 or 6 a.m. it was completely ready. And the guy was happy. was very happy. You know, this guy took additional 6 months before he paid us.
Wow. Additional 6 months.
6 months before he paid us.
Wow. That's inhuman. If I would put it that way, if that would be the best way to best word to use for that, because how do you get the result for the work that you ordinarily you didn't even have the time? There was shortage of time. I mean, that's not fair, to be honest. That's not fair. So yeah, let's talk AI, artificial intelligence.
All right.
Your work is impacted by this new trend. Website, web development, app development, even digital marketing. All of these works are impacted by artificial intelligence because they have introduced the new approaches to work. So how do you integrate AI solutions into your client's project, and like what are the real world value you're seeing in all of this integration so far?
I'm actually split about AI. Why? Will AI replace humans? Probably not. Probably will not. Will AI have a very significant impact? A big yes. Okay. So as a business owner, this is what I think. When I hear AI, especially in web design, app design and all those stuffs, as a business owner, if AI can do the job of a developer, I don't need a developer. Now, as a professional, I also understand that there are some things that, as a professional that uses AI, let me say it like that. As a professional that uses AI, I know there's a lot of fault with AI too. But this is just the start.
Still scratching the surface.
In 4-5 years, all this thing might be solved.
Yeah.
So back to your question, how AI impacts me as a business owner. Believe me, if AI can do the job, I'll pay AI. There's no, that's the truth. That's the truth. If you think about it, the whole point of business is about making profit.
Oh yeah.
If there's an AI that can do that for, let me just use Nigerian amount. Let me say I can pay 1 to 2 million naira and it will work for a full year, and I have to pay a staff about 6 million naira a year. Is it not technically better for me to go with AI?
I mean, it is to save cost.
Yes. So that's one of the impact of AI. But to answer your questions, Nigeria is not that advanced that many people want to use AI in their websites, except you are at the cutting edge of things. Okay. You don't. Many people just want a website. This is our business online. You understand what I mean now?
I get.
Yeah, so
that means so far you've not had a situation where you have to integrate AI into your client's projects and solutions.
On 2 occasions, just 2 occasions.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. That's a big project. The project was sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Then that was like a year or 2 ago.
Okay.
Then the second one is, we are still working on the second one right now. We are partnering with a company in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we are working on that project right now. I don't want to mention names. That's why I'm trying to.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's you don't need to mention name, but at least.
Yeah.
Looking at the Africa at the moment, based on your own experience and how you've seen AI being deployed, and of course you're also deploying AI in the work that you do now. How do you see it transform the African businesses and industries?
Here is my major about transforming African businesses. Here is what I think, my honest opinion.
Yeah.
How many businesses in Nigeria right now uses the internet as their major source of whatever they
Revenue.
do? How many? So before we even talk about AI, Nigeria is not digitized to the extent
Fully.
to which the impact of AI will be astronomical. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I get you.
Okay. There are still, in terms of numbers, there are lots of people on digitized platforms. Don't get me wrong. The banking industry has to be digitized. All those
Yeah.
stuffs. I can mention industries like that. But relative to the whole business in Nigeria, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Those
get it.
industries, relative to the, is not that large. So what I see is this: there will be a very big disparity with the advent of AI. There will be a very big disparity. You will see some industry like the banking sector, they will jump forward many steps, and you see like the agricultural sector still trying to catch up, and that is my biggest problem with AI. The uneven approaches that we have to it is my biggest problem with AI.
So how do we keep up? I mean, because at the moment, say for instance, the UAE government already give already paid, they've paid quite a long sum of money to some of these AI company, to empower their citizens. US, for example, also, is already made a law, a executive order to incorporate artificial intelligence teaching into the curriculum of the primary schools, and this some other countries are already making same part. So how do we keep up for Nigeria or African countries? How do we keep up with the West to make sure that we are not left far behind?
I think you've answered it. The only solution is for us to do the same thing they are doing. This knowledge has to be for everybody.
But we have our challenges with infrastructures. So how do we balance all of this? How do we go through all of this?
That is exactly the problem. The problem is, we need a system that can make things go round before we even talk about AI. Do you understand? It is not just AI that is not evenly distributed. No, it is almost everything. So until we can figure out how things can be evenly distributed, we cannot really talk about AI in that context too. We cannot singularly say, oh, how can we democratize AI when we cannot even evenly democratize ordinary education?
No.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I really like what the Minister for, I think, Digital Economy is doing. Yes. One of the problem I have with that, credit to him. I'm not trying to take any credit away from him. But one of the problem I have with that is the fact that you will develop some people, they will be so far ahead. And some people will just be way, way too behind.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to solve that right now that we are talking. I don't know how to. But I believe with time, we would get clarity on that and move forward.
On that. So, now still coming to your work.
Okay.
We are at the time now we're talking about low code.
Okay.
I mean, low code. You have Lovable, where you can quickly build a website.
Anything.
We also talk about automation, right? We have Zapier, we have make.com, where you can, do a lot of integrations, and you can have some of your operational processes automated. So how is this impacting the work that you do, and how is Bigyard Digital adopting these processes?
Before Zapier and all these things, when I was still at my last place of work, my boss then was the one that introduced me to automation. I don't know if you know this app, Power Automate.
Yes, Microsoft Power Automate.
Yes, that was what so somehow I started using automations earlier than most people.
Wow.
So it really brought me into that framework. Believe me when I say I'm scared of it. The truth is, it's a progress we have to make. It's every industry changes. Samsung were once manufacturers of military equipment and all those things. Things will change. I'm happy if it changes for the better. But will it impact for good? I don't think it will be for good, at least financially speaking. Because if anybody can just, if anybody
can just build website now.
you get what I mean. So
I get that. I know your fears.
Yes.
Well, I actually know your fears in terms of businesses, because I mean, if I can just sit down and go on those platforms and build websites, and I'm good with whatever output I have, why should I consult you Bigyard Digital to bring business to you for you to build a website for me? But I still believe that not everyone would have that luxury of time to want to sit down and prompt over and over again to get whatever output they want to get. And I still also believe that there are some integrations that still need the technicalities of people like you, like Bigyard Digital and developers and engineers that would still put all of these things in proper perspective, all of these platforms in proper perspective, and make the necessary integrations. So I know that you have your fears. I know your fears in terms of that financial aspect of it, but I still believe that you still have your businesses. But the beauty of it is, once you continue you continue to adopt these processes to make your work better. So that now brings me to I saw that you on your profile you said you have tech train. What are you doing with Tech Train, and what give birth to Tech Train, and what's your vision with Tech Train?
Okay. I do train people. In fact, yesterday, that was Tuesday, Wednesday, and tomorrow, Friday. I still train people. So that's one of the reasons why we've been having problems with getting a particular time, actually. I have a couple of people that I currently train at the moment.
Okay.
So I train people in web development, app building, basically. I'm hoping to expand into project management and all, but for now, I train people on web development and app building. However, we realize that Tech Thing has been registered. That is why there's no official thing about it yet.
I was going to ask about that, because when I was doing research, I discovered that there are some other Tech Train, I think in India and some other places that you have Tech Train. So I tried to find Tech Train Nigeria. I couldn't find that. Like, okay, I will ask this question about this. But I like the fact that you are beyond the financial aspect of it. Beyond you making money, you're also, you're making effort of creating impact, make impact, and build, people for the digital ecosystem. So, what do you, after training, what's the place of mentorship that you provide to these young people that you're training?
Yes, this is like the fourth time that we are doing this. It's like the fourth time.
Okay.
So from the first set of people, at least, the people, it's not everybody that starts with tech that will eventually end up in tech.
Of course.
That is one of the things I had to learn. I thought everybody that was coming, once you come here, we put fire, you just go into tech. No. In fact, from the first set, nobody went into tech. Oh, no. Tosin went into tech. Aside Tosin, like 16 people, only Tosin went into tech. So
out of 16 people, just one.
Went into tech. So basically, one of the things we are trying to streamline, especially for this one that we are doing, is that we want people that are really interested in tech, not just people that are less busy and want to just pass away time. So we want people that are really interested, because it's free. At least for now, it is still 100% free. So, and all of them, I gave them mandate. I told them they will pay me 200K. Immediately they make their first million. So that's the mandate. You have to make your first million and pay 200,000.
Wow.
So it's not about the money. I don't have anything to do with Yamo. But the point is, now they know they have to they have 3 months to make 1 million.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you can't just learn this and go and sleep at home.
Yeah.
So that's the point. It's not about money. It's about impact. But we have to make sure that we are teaching the right people too. So that will make it easy to mentor them. When they have problems, they'll be able to reach out. But if you're not teaching, if you're not using what you have been taught, you don't have any reason to reach out in the first place. So after this set, we'll institutionalize it. We are still looking for a proper name to register so that we can have a platform online that people can come actually, and we can have a mentorship platform online too. And move it beyond just WhatsApp and all.
So what's the vision for it? Maybe in the next 5 years, what do you hope that when we look back
by 2020, this 2025, by 2030, we are looking at 10,000 students minimum that are not just students, that are in the tech workforce
ecosystem.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's something that would love to have that conversation, revisit this conversation again at that time. So I'm really rooting for you. I'm looking forward to that. So in terms of mindset, learnings, and maybe the road ahead, right? So as a founder, what has been the lessons you've learned through this journey as a tech founder, and what lessons have you learned through this, and what have been the lessons you've learned so far through this journey?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is have faith. Have faith. Believe me, it's not about skill. I'm saying there's a bare minimum of skill. Once you reach a certain level, let's say you have to be 60% good. Anybody that's not 60% good is on their own. But everybody above 60%, it's not skill that differentiates them.
Yeah.
It's not skill. You've known most of what you need to know. And since you can reason, you can solve most of the problems. And most websites are not that complicated. Most jobs are not that complicated. So have faith. You can, if you want to give up, something is not happening, you wrote in your goal that you want to make 1 million naira a month, and you're probably making 5K. Still have faith. Still have faith. Yeah, still have faith. That's the biggest lesson I've learned. I've given up mentally a number of times. Let me just wait till tomorrow. There was a time I could not pay salary now.
Oh.
There was a time I couldn't pay salary. When I started, I got about 2 or 3 people from one WhatsApp group. They joined and wanted to do it together, and we're doing it for a couple of months. Everybody went their home when we're not making money now.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. People want to make money. They have bills to pay.
Yes,
it's only you that carries the dream.
You get. So
I mean, yeah. So in all of these things, what keeps you going? What really keeps you going?
God, do. Let me be straightforward with that. God, let me. Right. I've seen things happen that I had no. I'm working with some clients right now that I cannot lie to you. There's no way. If those clients say, "Oh, we want to evaluate the person we are working with," there's no way they will pick me.
Wow.
Let me be very, very honest with you. There's no way. Yeah, I told you that there's a project I'm working on with some people in Sweden. Do I know them? No. The people they were working with said, "Okay, I want this person to manage our project." They do not. They have their project. They have everything. He said, "No, this is the person I want," and that was how we got the job. Nothing. There was nothing like, "Are you good?" No, this is the person I want. He was not asking whether we're good enough or not. This is the person I want. So, believe me, in my own experience, so I can't say for another person, no, trust God.
No.
Nah God.
So let's look at the African tech space at the moment. There's a lot going on. There's a lot, and it's booming. And even though it's also booming, there have been a conversation around issues with funding. Fundraising at the moment, it's so hard for you to raise fund. Right. So looking at the space and how growing it is going, what excites you about it?
What excites me right now? The problem I have, you ask what excites me.
And of course, what scares you? What are the things that you don't like? You don't like seeing that's happening in that space?
That is because if I start with the first part, which says what excites me, there are extremely few. In fact, if I must mention, I'll mention only one thing that excites me. That is the fact that there are some people that are working on localized data for Africa by Africans. Data Science Nigeria. I don't know if you know about Data Science Nigeria.
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I'll check them out.
All right. Data Science Nigeria. They're working on data for Africa by Africans. I don't know if it's Data Science Nigeria or Equalize AI. It's owned by the same person. So I don't know which of the two. Yes. So Equalize AI or Data Science Nigeria. Either of the two. So the point why I said there is very few is this. For instance, look at fintech. How many fintech are actually solving a problem?
Little problem, yeah.
Yeah. We've adopted a mind of let's make money beyond let's actually solve a problem.
Yeah.
And that is the problem I have. When you're saying, you said there's no funding, which is right. But how many people are actually solving a problem that is what's been funded?
Yeah.
That's the question I ask many times. Sometimes, even me personally, when I told you I had two guys work with me. We had an idea of building an AI hub and look for funder and all those things. They wanted us to print shirts, print everything, so we now look like I paid for one big office space around Ikeja. One of my biggest mistakes.
Okay.
I just spent money like somebody that was. We paid for one, and we were like, "Oh, we want to do startup, build this thing." Eventually, 2-3 months, everything don't die down. All the initial has ended. The point,
I know the feeling, right?
Yeah, the point is, it's not about doing something. It's about creating a solution. When you really create a solution, I'm not saying just do something. Anybody, I can wake up today and say I want to start selling rice and beans behind the road. Anybody can. That's just a business anybody can do. Yeah. But when you really want funding, you have to create a solution. And I'm yet to see a proper solution-based startup in Nigeria. I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth. That's how I feel.
So now, you're yet to see a proper one, right?
No, there are some. Don't get me wrong, please.
There are some. Okay, I agree with you. So what are the solutions that you're looking forward to that they're not building yet?
Okay, number one is there has to be a way to properly document. When I mean documentation, across industries, I don't know, but Nigeria has to be one of the poorest documented industry. What's the point of is it BVN or NIN now?
BVN.
Aside your bank, and now, okay, they integrated with your passport. Aside those two, everything else is flying. We don't know anything about you. So Nigeria needs to be documented. Your health details. This should be simple to get your health details on it. Your driver's license, for instance, you should not have a different driver's license number. All these things should be easy to document, at least. together with a number. You understand what I mean? At least you lived in
I get
you
you.
live in a very so documentation, something a tech startups that works on documentation. I know a large percentage of this will be on the government. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was going to
But at
to
least-
actually ask you about that
Yeah,
because
but-
enabling environment and also the willingness of the government, to make this happen.
Yes.
Because that willpower of the government to make this happen is very important. I mean, there's so many solutions that a lot of people might want to build, but the government will still that idea with their. Well, there's a lot of people in the government that is making money from the chaos and the inappropriateness that is happening in the country.
Yes.
They are making their good money, and they won't want to see changes happen.
You are right.
Right. So, so now coming to looking at Nigeria, for example. Now, we've talked about data. What other areas? Is it healthcare? Is it agriculture? What are the other solutions that, or other industries or sectors that you think that okay, there is need for solutions to be built to address some of those challenges?
You just mentioned the two most important. Agric has to be digitized in Nigeria. Number one, it is extremely important for us. Okay, let me give this example. There was few years ago, if you follow Nigeria in the last 5 years, there was a time for 2-year period where people were throwing out eggs.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Egg were getting spoiled. Over another
issue then.
Yes, over another issue, over another 2 years, egg became extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how egg can be preserved yet. However, during that time, there were places that would have gotten those eggs. If we know, from this distribution, there are more eggs here, and these people have a tendency to buy more eggs. We can just move eggs from here to here and solve the problem of wasting it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine that we dabble into agric together, and few years back, yam was extremely expensive.
Yeah.
So we got into that and we made some money. It was very much, I have to say that. The following year, we thought, the same thing will happen. We entered the market, we crashed.
Wow.
We crashed. Somehow I was happy. Why? I like cheap food to be cheap. However, the simple thing is this. From what I know, yam is quite easier to preserve than many other things. At least for some time. That time that we had excess, we could have used it to do something. There has to be at least on the simplest scale, there has to be something that will digitize the amount and distribution of those agricultural produce so that you can understand how to move them from one point to another to make sure need is met nationwide. That is the simplest thing that can be done.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes. And on health tech, it's also easy. Aside you are going to maybe a private hospital, all your data is on one sheet of paper with one doctor.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Your medical history should be available to almost everybody that is supposed to have access to it. So you don't go somewhere and lie. You don't go somewhere and they'll give you a drug you would react to. You don't go somewhere and you understand what I'm trying to say now. So that is the problem I have with at least those two need immediate intervention.
Yeah. Well, I actually agree with you. In terms of that, agriculture is very important. I mean, considering that we are one of the nations that is also largely we have that land, we have the weather, and of course we have the number of farmers that where some of those communities and states are largely dependent on farm. They are largely agrarian communities, right? And we depend on farm produce. But now we have issue of food insecurity at the moment because of different factors. I mean, now we're talking about climate change. Then, in terms of insecurity, because some of these interlands, when the farmers, the herdsmen, they have issue with clashes with herdsmen, so they are not going to farm as often as they used to, because of course they are also scared for their own life. So this is the best time to really develop some of these solutions to ensure that these the challenges, at least the produce that have been farmed, they should be well preserved and of course well distributed across different regions that need some of these farm produces. So those ideas are very valid. I must agree with you. The to unification of data, when it comes to that BVN. I've always argued that why should we did BVN? You have your passport. Well, now you do national national passport. What was it called? NIN. Then there is also other data that you still have to do. Okay, driver's license. You also still do that. When you can unify all of this data. I mean, that's the problem. This conversation is something that I have always had with my friends. So, I mean, before I let you go, we've talked about the African space. Now we talk about the Nigerian space. I mean, globally, what are the inventions, innovations, and development that you've been following that you hope that that maybe it's happening in the world? Do you hope that those inventions could be replicated or localized in our continent or in Nigeria?
The one I really want cannot be localized yet, though.
Which one is that?
Going to Mars cannot be localized.
No, okay. So what if we have like the flying cars in Lagos? What would you like? Just imagine it. How would it feel?
No, Agbero is too much.
If we have the flying cars in Lagos, come on, we will scale up beyond that Agbero. I mean, we get to beat the Agbero, because I'll be honest with you, these are the next level of innovations that will be commercialized very soon. Say for instance, 2030. At the moment, they are building the rail tracks for Hyperloop, the tube. Yes. So they are building the facilities for it already. They're already testing it. It has been tested, and there's also testing it in different regions. We have driverless cars. That are already also been tested. We have the flying taxis that are already been tested. I saw some of them when I went to the World Expo in 2021, 2022, where they were first unveiled to the world. Right. I just imagine that if we can have some of these innovations in Africa, in Nigeria, how beautiful would it be? I mean, at the moment we're still struggling with trade. Trade, it's crazy.
I have something I want to say about that. See, it's not just about struggling with trade. The infrastructure is one thing. The maintenance is another thing. And personally speaking, I think true. Most Nigerian mechanics can't even fix a Toyota properly.
True.
So there's layers of complexities on this. It's not just about bringing these innovations. Can it be maintained?
So skill gap is also important.
Yes. In fact, if you notice, I'm sure you do, when Japa was hot around 2022, 2023, most banks could not function properly.
Oh yeah, they could not function properly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of things are. See, Nigeria is in a very precarious position, and we don't understand that things are fragile. But we don't understand because it works. We don't understand that the infrastructure behind the things we are using is extremely fragile. See, one of the things that is holding people now is the exchange rate is extremely high. If, for instance, that exchange rate goes back to around 600, another big wave of Japa we comfort. Yes. And what will happen to these industries again?
Collapse.
Yeah. There is a technical know-how skill gap that is very obvious, and we usually do not take note of that because things still happen. So we believe as things are happening, it means things are good. No, things are not good.
Yeah. So there's a large brain drain at the moment, even from let's say from 2021, 2022, 23, a lot of people left the country, most especially tech guys.
Yeah.
And some of these industries are still feeling it at the moment, because those people who left at that time, they were senior
Exactly.
they were senior guys, and they had to, the younger ones had to fill those spaces, even though they don't have the technical know-how to the level in which it is required. So how do we balance this? What are the things we need to do? Or maybe is it government, is it the private sectors? What are the things we need to do to make sure that we level up in this space?
That's one of the things I actually want to address with Tech Train, or at least when we have the name we want to use. But for this context, let me say Tech Train. One of the things that has always been, I don't understand. One of the things I don't understand is how people hide knowledge. It's not like I'm going to take your job.
Yeah.
There should be a systematic way of bringing up the younger generation. It has to be there. See, it's not, it's a Nigerian culture to make sure that you are greater than the generation coming. And that is wrong. That is why we still have the same set of people running the government till today. That is why we still have the same set of people running virtually everything today. Because they are the only set of people that know how it works. There should be a proper structure that, okay, this person is coming up. I identify this talent. This guy is good at this. Let me from my heart bring this person up to this level. That's the whole point. There's this guy that's made one song. How many people you bless is how you measure success. So you have to be able to bring people, because eventually, even if you reach 200 years, you'll be gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if that person knows more than you eventually. At least the person will always point to, this is the person that pointed me in this direction. So that's just my view about that.
Yeah. So before I let you go, I mean, what's one message that you have for young entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, founders? What's the one message you have for them today, listening to us today?
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Believe me, you have to keep believing. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Don't jump from an high-rise building, but anything is possible. If you can, there's a reason why you are thinking about it. As long as that thought is in your mind, it means it is achievable. Believe me, if it is not achievable, it will not cross your mind. If it crosses your mind, it is achievable. So keep the faith.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing your voice to the table. Thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate you for taking out the time, to have this conversation. It's been an insightful moment for me, and of course for our listeners and viewers. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.